welcome to the Dead Pit. It's Carl here from Games Brrraaains A Head-Banging Life with my guest Iñi from Childrain. Here you're going to offer up 5 things within the worlds of gaming, horror and heavy metal that annoy you basically, or mildly irritate you, all that sort of stuff. And that you'd like to send to the Dead Pit, where basically hungry zombies will tear it apart, never to be seen again. However, I'll be making the decision of whether or not I agree with you and send it to the Dead Pit. So it's up to you to effectively convince me that these things belong in it. So let's get us started then with your first one.
Okay, perfect. For me, the first one that I have to send to the zombie pit is the tributes to bands that are still performing.
Okay, tribute acts to bands that are still performing. Okay.
Yeah, well, I will say all the tributes, but I will keep myself more calm because I think that the tributes to bands that are still performing, it's really ridiculous and dangerous.
Okay. Is there any particularly in mind when you've seen like a cover band of a tribute band of a particular band that jumps to mind and you go, oh, okay, that's a great example of it?
Not exactly. Here in my country, there are so many tribute bands that I can't just pick one. It's for me, it's really disgusting because they are keeping the place for new bands that try to be original and try to make some kind of way in music, and they are collapsing the well, it's not their fault. The fault belongs to the crowd that goes to see them. But for me, it's just it's like a scam for me.
It's an interesting way to put it. It's very popular over here in England as well, in the UK. You'll often see, particularly local shows, where the top billed band is a tribute band. And then you have original acts playing support to them. And it can be a bit depressing.
Yeah, it happens the same here in some kind of festivals. And we for example, we don't accept that I don't know how to say. Sorry for my English.
That's all right.
We don't accept that kind of agreement when we hire or we have a contract. We always say that we are not playing under a tribute band by no means. That's absolutely forbidden for us.
Well, absolutely. Particularly at your stage in your career, you've been doing this long enough that you should be expecting and deserve better.
Yeah.
What about Childrain? Have you ever done like cover songs and things for fun when you're playing live?
Well, when we started, we used to play a cover song from Lamb of God's Redneck, but just for fun because we didn't have enough songs to have a set list, a proper set list, so we needed to put something. But I don't think that is the same because you are just covering one song between your original set. So in my mind, we were offered to do a Pantera tribute show, just one in our hometown, and we said yes. But we were preparing the second record, so we didn't have enough time because Dimebag Darrell riffs are fucking insane, and it's really difficult. So we say no, but I don't see like a bad thing to do just one tribute gig to any band, but don't make a profit and a career of it. That's my point.
No, I agree with you, and you're 1 for 1. That one's going into the zombie pit. I 100% agree. Okay, what's your second one?
Okay, my second one will be I don't know how to pronounce that. I don't know if it's proper. The machism in heavy metal.
Okay.
The alpha male.
Oh, I understand. The masculine top.
Yeah. For me, that kind of behavior, like the hair metal bands from the 80s and and so on. For me, it's a mixture between ridiculous and dangerous thing because you are telling the kids in some way that that you are superior and the girls are under your yeah, you understand me,
Yeah.
because I think that it's in these days it's dangerous as well because kids grow up thinking that they are going to enter a metal band just to have groupies and to fuck.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
that was one of the reasons Lemmy had to create Motorhead, but Lemmy was born in the 40s, I think. So I think that nowadays that it's just out of time. For me, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully, it seems to have been from an era. Modern day bands, that it doesn't seem like that mind frame's quite the same. There might be the odd one that still behaves and thinks like that, but the days of, guess we'll name the big band that was responsible for that kind of attitude, Motley Crue, have certainly died away. So what do you make of then, say, someone like Steel Panther, who are doing that to a degree, but in an almost tongue-in-cheek way? Do you think that's the same, or do you agree with the fact they're doing it more jokingly?
Well, Steel Panther is the I think that is the case that is nowadays more relevant in these terms. For me, they are mocking all the scene. So I can see the mocking. I can see the irony in their acts, and I think that those guys in their real life are not thinking or believing in that kind of behavior.
Yeah.
But the problem for me is that they are becoming quite mainstream, and they keep doing those for me ridiculous things that. Having girls upstage flashing their tits and that, for me it's out of time.
Yeah.
It's old, it's antique, and it's worthless really. But I can see the irony in them, so I won't kill them. But I don't agree with some of their stage manners.
No, I do understand what you're saying, and I agree. And it's damaging to the scene as well, I guess, because if you still have that attitude towards women when it comes to women in bands, then it's almost like people don't respect them as much. But you look at the likes of the modern day bands we have, from Venom Prison to Within Temptation, Evanescence, and all these big bands that have either women fronting them or women playing them and all that. And the attitude has to change.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree with you.
Yeah. Of course, that goes in there as well. I 100% agree. Nothing drives me more mad. I am. If there's one style of music I dislike the most, it's hair metal. That's particularly because of the attitude. 100% agree. Right, Iñi, your third one.
Okay, my third one is well, it's quite similar. I'm doing this seriously. I'm sorry because maybe you expect some more humor, but I hate and I will kill all the Nazi stuff in black metal.
Of course.
I can cope with that. It's simple. I can cope with it. I can hear some bands. I'm not a particular fan of black metal, but I get the mantra of their music. It's like for me, it's interesting. It's something like I don't really like to put in my radio in my car, but I have been in black metal gigs and I have listened to Burzum and Death Throne, the typical ones, and I can get the idea of a kind of mantra. It's artistically for me, it's good. It's great, but I can cope with being Nazis,
Of
of course.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost a no-brainer, so to speak, where there's no kind of question whether or not you should be thinking, oh, okay, that's mind frame, whether it be Nazi-related, neo-Nazi, and so on, is okay just because they play a particular style of music. It's something, from a personal point of view, I wouldn't say I've actively got my way to avoid listening to that type of music, but thankfully I don't come across it enough because it's obviously so underground. You kind of have to seek it out. So
Yeah.
thankfully the kind of mainstream, or at least the middle ground bands, you know, are the ones. And I guess it's frustrating sometimes when you've been listening to and enjoying a band that then all this stuff comes out of the woodwork that so and so in that band has ties to Nazis
Yeah.
and so on. Incredibly frustrating. Anyone who would defend that as a way of life, or just freedom of speech,
Yeah.
is wrong in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you because it's not everything. I am with the free speech, of course,
Of course,
but I can tolerate something. I have my red lines.
the world didn't go to war to, destroy that systematic point of view to just bring it back X amount of years later. Of course, I mean, of course that goes in there. Absolutely. You're 3 for 3. What's your fourth
Okay,
one?
well, the third one is less serious, but for me it's quite important. You know, spandex, that kind
Yeah.
of tissue from the 80s. I'm not with that. I hate that. I I'm a big Pantera fan, and when I see those pics before the Cowboys from Hell area, well, for me it's for me it's really ridiculous. I can respect because there were other times, and I've been growing in the 90s, and I've been myself being really ridiculous as well.
Yeah.
But spandex in metal should be forbidden.
Absolutely. It's quite funny, really. When you think of, as you say, those early days of Pantera, it's almost two different bands.
Yeah.
Me and my brother, we like to separate those first 4 albums and just pretend that was our tribute band, and this was from Hell onwards. It's a totally different band. At
Huh.
any point in your career, have you ever worn spandex?
Yeah, I have done, but just as a costume. We played a show once that it was in the carnival. It's their carnival, yeah. And I used to I disguised myself twice, like a Motley Crue one, but uh, with some kind of respect, but as well mocking something, some kind of mocking for that looks that for me are ridiculous. I respect them, but
Yeah.
for me are really, really ridiculous. It's like it's more visual. I'm not against visual metal like Slipknot, Ghost, or those kinds of bands, but it's for me it's not helping the looks. It's just degrading the looks. It's not like, oh, you seem to be you, I don't know. It's metal. It's sometimes it's hard. It's aggressive, and with those looks, you look like, I don't know. I can't I can't cope with that.
It's again of a time. It's an '80s thing more than anything else seems, and ultimately, you gotta have the figure for it. You can't just be squeezing any old body into a pair of spandex. Now, if you hadn't put this as spandex and metal, I probably would disagree with you because if you like wrestling, you're kind of used to spandex and seeing
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
spandex and metal, it ties in the hair metal. I personally trying to think, have I ever worn? No, I've never worn spandex. There's no good reason. I'm not in a band. No, and I certainly don't have the figure for it. That goes in there as well. So you're 4 for 4. Your last one.
Okay, this one for me is really, really, really important.
Okay.
because I have read in the media that maybe Pantera are joining again with Zach Wild and I don't know who in the drums, and that will be an absolute tragic thing because Pantera, it was the greatest band of metal, but now it's dead. So don't resuscitate bands when the main core for me, that were the brothers, the Abbott brothers,
Yeah.
are gone. It's kind of, they say that this is a kind of respecting the brothers, and no, for me it's just the opposite. It's not like a tribute. It's like now that they are dead, you are taking advantage of the situation that you don't have to cope with lawyers and all the people because the brothers are dead,
Yeah.
and you are going to make profit under a sacred name for me. So if you do that, Phil and Rex, okay, but don't call it Pantera.
Right. This seems to come around every so often where Pantera. This rumor. I remember this rumor, particularly with Zach Wild first turning up when Vinny was still alive, and he would be like, "That ain't happening," and so on. So I don't think it's ever going to go away. For some reason, people seem to automatically put Zach Wild in there because I think like he's the only guitarist that potentially could be what's the word I want to look for? Allowed, respected enough.
Yeah, I understand.
So what do you make of then with the current Phil Anselmo and the Illegals doing the Pantera sets?
Well, I think that our Phil Anselmo, it's an unique guy in the good way and in the bad way. I think he deserves all the rights to do his part. He's a part of that legacy,
Yeah.
and he contributed a lot to those songs. He's the singer, and the lyrics are from him. So I think that under that illegal playing Pantera, for me, that's a tribute, but a tribute with more. I think that is the singer of Pantera. I think that he has the right to do it. Okay, I have seen Phil Anselmo and the Illegals playing Pantera, and I was fucking crazy in the crowd. Okay, they played in my hometown and during a festival, and just to listen Phil Anselmo singing Pantera songs,
Yeah.
it makes you go to a really, really wild place. For me, I haven't seen Pantera in my entire life, so it's just a way of if you close your eyes, you can think that you see a Phil on stage, then you see the other guys, and no one resembles anything to the rest of the guys. Well, the guitarist looks kind of Dimebag Darrell, but it's not Dimebag Darrell,
Of course.
and he's not playing like Dimebag Darrell. So it's like I don't know how to explain. I enjoyed it, but with some kind of bitter inside myself, feeling some kind of guilty maybe because it was great, but they are not Pantera.
Of course.
It's only Anselmo. But I think that the guy has all the right to do that and to do whatever he wants because he's part of the creators of those songs.
Absolutely, and you already touched on upon the start. He's not calling it Pantera. It's Phil Anselmo and the Illegals do Pantera. So almost, let's be honest, it's almost like a tribute act to a degree. Just happens to have the man who was vocally responsible for those Pantera songs. They're supposed to be playing Bloodstock in August in this country. And I myself, like you, have never seen Pantera live. So I'm seeing this as, okay, this is the best I'm going to get. I'll enjoy it, but it'll be the same. There'll be that disconnect where it's like, okay, it's never going to happen. And truth be told, I'm okay with it because, you know, two of the most important members in that band are dead. So that band is dead, and that's how it goes, basically, sometimes. You know, I've never seen Nirvana live. I'm not going to. That's okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I when Dimebag was killed, I immediately thought that it was done. The band was done, even being vinyl live. And for me, Pantera died the day that Dimebag was shot on stage.
Yeah.
It was hard. I must admit. It was like 2 years just wondering, oh fuck, Dimebag Darrell is really, it's really dead. So it's like something that you can't put yourself, your mind on it and believe it. But I don't know. In 2006, I was just okay. Pantera is done, and that's it. There is no more Pantera. You better accept it. And
Yeah.
when Vinny died, it was just okay, another nail in the coffin.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you. Any potential rumors for Pantera with Zach and an attempt to restart the band just to do shows or anything, absolutely that goes in the pit. So you're 5 for 5. All of them go in. Well done.
Okay.
You're the first one to get all of them in. So congratulations.
Oh, oh, thank you
Absolutely.
very much.
Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/GBHBL, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?